It may be heat dome out there, but it's nice and cool in here, and I will have no terrifying CGI llamas or Jason Momoa and bat outfits in this video. So, welcome to my gaming vlog for September of 2024. And on top of what I'm playing, as per usual, I thought I was gonna crack my backlog of stories I had that came up a while ago, but again, more stuff keeps coming up, so among them, we'll talk about how new information on Zelda sizzles, also a new Ubisoft massive Star Wars game fizzles, and Concord's bubble just straight up burst in record time. So let's get to it. Okay, to lead off, probably a big one this week. I mean, no one expected much of Concord, a hero shooter that was loosely inspired by science fiction 1970s, but I don't think anyone expected this, where here after just 2 weeks on sale, and a launch which debuted to a meager 25,000 copies, 15,000 of which were on PS5, a system which has sold at least 60 million to date. They shared an important update on Concord on the official PlayStation blog, so let's look at that. It was authored by Ryan Ellis of Firewalk Studios, and I certainly hope they want to make something else. Concord fans, we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC, and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey by the North Star. Your support and the passionate community that has gotten around the game has meant the world to us. However, while many qualities of experience resonate with players, we also recognize other aspects of the game and initial launch didn't land where we intended. No, they crashed and burned. I'm gonna try and keep any snark to a minimum, even if others have clearly ran with it. Therefore, at this time, we decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024, and explore options, including those that better reach our players. When we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately and will begin to offer full refund to all gamers who purchase the game for PS5 or PC. So I'd say that's the ones who are aligning to who this Dark Cloud. I can definitely think of a bunch of uses, even for games alone, for $40 right now. But this is still pretty staggering. I thought would have at least he's tried to wave the white flag going free to play, putting on PS Plus, though. And while that's still not completely off the table for table, I personally don't have high hopes for that. I mean, just the sheer speed at which it's this game and crashed and burned is astonishing. I mean, Marvel's Avengers lasted at a few years before that got tossed in Vormir. Here, heck, even Radical Heights lasted for a month before that got the axe. I mean, now there's a life service relic. And I certainly hope that Firewalk maybe gets to make a single player adventure. And while people also point out like how much money was spent on this and how it could have gone to other titles, that's no miscommunication to me. And I think the simplest explanation behind this game failing is probably the correct one, as in people were indifferent to this because I never thought it looked outright bad. I just thought it looked kind of there, if I'm being carelessly blunt. Another bit I'll share is that it's also caused like another rare PS Stars award, for their token of the North Star, and I think at least 100 reward coins. The moment they announced that the game was being removed from sale, when I checked the app again, they were gone. So there's that. Okay, so, and speaking of space opera titles that don't seem to be doing well, we have Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft and Massive, which released to rather mixed reception on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series is late last month, and on top of it not quite living up to the hype of fulfilling your scoundrel bounty hunter fantasies in the saga, was also marred by a wide series of technical bugs. Like, even on the hardest difficulty settings, the most common ones I've seen were Stormtroopers one moment being on you with a full fight of the Empire, and the next just have you casually walking out the front door during a job. And also, despite having state-of-the-art technology at disposal, well, a lot of character models actually look worse than both Ubisoft and Star Wars titles that came out years ago. I mean, and even ones within, at least within the past year. And even though exact numbers have not been made public, understandably so, the game has reportedly sold less, about half of what Jedi Survivor did through the same time frame. But even less than, but only slightly more than Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which was made by some developers. Even I was one of the people who was going like the whole "let's see where this goes" attitude, between the fact that I don't have systems that can run it. I also do not have a particularly high opinion of Ubisoft as of late. And I mean, it's like another example of the whole, given the controversies they faced in recent years, is of the whole keep the hits coming my mentality. Like, if you keep putting out good quality work, then people will still be willing to stand by you. But the moment that stops, then they're definitely going to move on to something else. I mean, of course, paying, in many cases, over $100 to get to play early, only for that function to not work, much like Rocksteady's infamous venture early in the year, is a bit of a deterrent. I mean, and one silver lining behind this is, hey, that, like, the remaster of the Bounty Hunter game is only about $20 on most systems. Especially, it's even less if you wait for a sale or have a discount. So now that I've gotten the duds out of the way, let's talk about something a bit more positive to get excited for. This is another belated video, a belated piece of information I want to address, but one I've been wanting to for a long time, regarding the highly anticipated Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And though the conversation has taken some interesting twists and turns in the months leading after release, personally, it wasn't just the fact that you can play as Zelda, but also the creative potential of the Echoes mechanics, and the fact that it has a similar art style to the Link's Awakening remake, which I absolutely loved. That alone made the sale for me at list price. I will also note that they reveal more details about traversal, combat, and even more details about the story, which I didn't want to get too into, but they did also make further clear that even though you're not going to be completely without abilities, weapons of your own, the main focus is going to be the Echoes, and especially like how it actually builds on the creative ideas from previous titles, including my personal favorite game of last year, Tears of the Kingdom, and how I like this idea of alternating between 2D and 3D ones. Like, even with the placement in the timeline not being exactly, I guess, how I imagined it for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom was close, it definitely it's highly amusing to me. A lot of the memes will come out of that, and it also makes sense that they're going about this way, given how she's typically the character that represents wisdom, um, Link representing courage, and usually it's the king or Ganon that represents power. And I'd definitely be very good to play this game and talk about it when it comes out. Might easily the most anticipated one this month. I'm gonna wait to get more Fist of Capcom when it comes out physically in November. So there's that. While I'm on the subject, I am actually getting further in Link's Awakening Remake. I'm even getting past the parts I was stuck on for a while now. I'm currently working on the Angler's Cave and trying to figure out exactly where to use which key. Exactly. I at least already got the compass and map for that dungeon, so which should make things a little bit easier. And I actually enjoyed playing it when it came out a little over 5 years ago, or roughly. I also kind of like how this Echoes of Wisdom is coming out roughly 5 years to that time frame, and it also shows how I still believe this is going to be like another solid antidote to like the whole hyper-realistic push, making development time and cost much bigger, or perhaps a back to basics approach, which feel by stylization would be in order. Yeah. On that subject, that I am definitely working on practicing for both the Grand Run and the Grand Festival in Splatoon 3. I am on Team Future, and as has been suggested, like I did with the last couple of games, whoever wins will help determine direction the next game takes. And if I'm being characteristically honest, I mean, I'm not sure I'm going to be expecting like a full fourth main game within the first year of the next Switch's life cycle. That might be a bit longer, say 2027, and as what I would expect it. However, given the fact that the Wii U's online systems have gone dark earlier this year, I think a DX version of the first Splatoon game could work. I mean, say with the mechanics and balance on scene updates have had over the sequel games, and already having all the weapons and gear of the first one on there. And also they putting out more amiibo, as well as reissuing in the ones that had the first couple games due to fandom anime. And that's why I think they're the one Toys of Life aspect that is still around. And like the advantages they had were quite clear over the Skylanders and Disney Infinity, where among other ones. They're also on top of being high quality Nintendo collectibles that do different things in each game. Like you have like the fighter AI in Splatoon, and fighter AI in Smash Brothers, the weapons against Splatoon, and also fighting boosts in some other titles like with Marge and Potato. A lot of people just think they're neat, as she might say in that meme. Over to the PS4 ever so slightly, I thought I would quickly have my thoughts on the PS Plus titles and give them for this month. I mean, not like MLB The Show, how 24 is definitely alright. I mean, at least what I was able to do, like I played a bit of the single player training, but once again, the online functions kind of had issues. I mean, I don't mean the sense of I couldn't get into it about being my cup of tea. I mean, it's like, no, I literally could not get into it, due to having problems with the online mechanics. I mean, and even though I don't know what I'm going to be getting in terms of the Once the extra and premium titles, there's more ones being removed. I will say this to shift gears a bit. Like Little Nightmares 2, what I played was alright, and that's even coming from someone who didn't play that much of the first game either. I mean, it's at least created an approach to stealth and physics-based platforming, mechanically, and also Harry Potter, her Quidditch Champions. So, even with the IP being a bit of a hot topic, but not for the best reasons lately, I kept my expectations low to be safe, and also did not make a best first impression that the game industry up crashed on launch day. I mean, I'll probably try my best to get that one PS Plus token and I'm after for this month, but beyond that, I don't have the highest expectations. I mean, since and I still personally think it actually looks and plays worse than the Quidditch World Cup game I used to have on GameCube. I also knew people that had versions on PlayStation 2 and the OG Xbox. I mean, where even I will think of the debate about like the cliches and the conventions stuff worth having, I still found some of the maybe bits amusing where like of course the Japanese team has like martial arts team specials. Of course, like the American and team is dunky on their opponents like they were the Washington Generals and they're the Harlem Globetrotters. Why wouldn't they? I have, however, started playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and I'm really enjoying it so far. That is one I actually can say lives up to its hype, and I like how it even includes like a little recap of the second game for those who have not played it. I mean, I am willing to go back and play the first couple ones, and even as someone who has not read the book, I'm definitely enjoying how frank its depictions are, and even finding a way to make a tutorial that isn't a total slog by weaving that into like a sparring session to other characters trying to train. So it's not just you who's learning the game's mechanics, you are in universe teaching the ropes to a new progeny who wants to be a witcher, so to speak. And yes, I can definitely verify both how graphic the combat encounters are and how the highly mimetic man spread of Geralt in the bathtub establishes elements that make sure that it's not a kid's game, and even gets into topics that kids wouldn't necessarily find fun either. I mean, like, both the developers as well as the person who wrote the book are Polish, so it's definitely something that they feel differently about us than we do, to put it mildly. I'm definitely going to enjoy myself playing it, and definitely can get as much as I can out of it, depending on how long this unseasonable heat dome continues. I mean, rain, shine, blistering heat should be a fun way to spend some downtime. Out, I am still very much into both multiverses and Star Wars Battlefront Classic collection. I have a reputation to maintain the latter. I'm so very proud of my platinum of being like 501st Legion Marshal Commander, and in the former, a level up event for the weekend is back. I definitely intend to make use of it to get that Gleamium. Especially, I always have characters just on the edge of leveling up, and on lower levels, so do fast for that exact reason. So, anyway, that'll be all for now. I'll see you all again very soon, so take care, everyone.